So in this section, you already actually know how to graph y equals x squared minus 4x minus 5. One way. I'm going to teach you another way. The way that you know already would be to make a table of values where we pick our x values, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And we would plug in those values and get our y's, and we could plot all the points. We did that on Monday with 8-1. But now the other way to do it involves a few steps that have to do with axis of symmetry, the vertex, and just a couple other little things that we're going to learn today so that we can graph this parabola. So in order to find the axis of symmetry, which is our step 1 here, we're going to use the formula x equals -b over 2a. We learned that in 8-2, so go ahead and try to calculate axis of symmetry. So step 2 is going to be to find the vertex, since we already have the x of our ordered pair, and a vertex is always an ordered pair. We have 2 comma something that we're going to find out right now. The way that we do that is we take the 2 and we plug it into the original equation that we started with. So once we plugged in the 2, we get -9 as our y value. So then the vertex, the final answer for our vertex has to be an ordered pair, so it's 2, -9. For step 3, we want to use the y-intercept. Remember that the y-intercept is when x is 0. If we plug in our zeros in x squared and -4x for this equation, we end up with y equals -5, which is really just going to be the c value every time. So the y-intercept is the same as the c. I then made a graph of my vertex. Let me get my pointer out. Here's my vertex, which was 2, -9 that we came up with. And then here's my graph of my y-intercept. Well, since I have an axis of symmetry right here and a parabola can be folded in half at symmetric, this side, the right-hand side, would have to be symmetric to this left point of the y-intercept. So this would end up being at 4, -5. One way to also figure this out is you can kind of count up like the slope. You can rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over 1, 2. So I'm going to do the same thing to get to this other blue point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, over the other way, 2. And so that's how I end up at that point. So that may help as well. And so you can make it so that your graph matches and your parabola is symmetric.